Tonight, please welcome the funniest man in America, Mr. James Gregory.
Oh, it's so good to be here. Last weekend I was down in Florida, and I like working down there because until we get our lottery going here, that's the nearest place I can get tickets. And last Saturday night it was $8 million, and I had 50 tickets. I didn't win nothing. But I've got 50 tickets again tonight. At 11 o'clock, they got that drawing down there, and I got a gut feeling I just might win that money. And here's how you'll know if I do. You'll never see my fat butt again. I'm not going to be like the people you see on television. No matter how many millions they win, they always go, no, I'm not going to quit my job. I was in Florida one time when a man down there won $18 million. And here's the question they asked this man on the 5 o'clock news. What hopes, what dreams, what plans have you and yours had all your lives that you can now follow through with? And bless his heart, he said, well, I'm going to either. Now, there's a key word right there. Either. Like with 18 million, he can't do both these things. I'm going to either pay off my Ford Bronco or put a new roof on the house. Stupid idiot. I'm going to let him repossess the truck and burn the house. I guess he didn't want to mess up his credit. And how about the lady out in Las Vegas about 2 or 3 months ago? Did you see this on the news? She was in her 70s and she won $9.4 million on a slot machine. A new Guinness Book of World Record on a slot machine payoff. $9 million. Did you see the woman on the news when they asked her what was she going to do with the money? And she said that she was going to get her transmission fixed. Somebody ought to slap that woman. Take that money back and give it to me. Because if I ever win like 18 million, 9 million, or just one damn million. If they want me to say something, I'm going to tell them this. The following people can kiss my rich fat ice. Number one, my ex-wife. You know what, though, we think? Here's what we think, folks. We think that if we had the lottery, that every week we would buy a ticket, because it's just $1, and you can win millions. You'll be amazed, though, at how many people live in the lottery state, and they just don't think about it. I was in Kentucky recently, and in Kentucky they do it 2 nights a week, Wednesday and Saturday. Also in Kentucky, you get 2 tickets for $1. That's 50 cents a ticket. I get on a Wednesday, the jackpot that night's $4 million. I'm sitting at the Waffle House marking my tickets. What's funny about that? Hell, I got to eat. Anyway, this waitress said, boy, you've got a lot of tickets. I said, well, $20 worth. She said, woo-wee. I said, how many do you have? She said, I didn't get any. I said, it's going to be $4 million? You didn't buy one 50-cent ticket? She said, oh, I'd buy a ticket if it gets way on up there. I'm like, you can't use $4 million? Let's see if I've got this right. If it's just $4 million, you just shouldn't stay here and jack around with them hash browns. Heck, if I worked at the Waffle House, I'd spend my whole check on tickets. And you know what, folks? Everybody in this room knows at least one person just like this. If you talk about the lottery in front of my uncle, you know what he'll say? He'll say, I wouldn't want to win. And I'm like, what? And he'll go, you couldn't give me none of that lottery money. You couldn't even give it to me. I'm like, that don't make any damn sense. Why the hell not? And he'll go, because you know how much tax they'll make you pay. I'm like, who cares? He goes, well, I don't want to give the government nothing. That's why I don't think you're going to have to. You're going to be a Jiffy Lube the rest of your life. You know. Whether we admit it or not, we've all got one person in our family or one close relative that is so stupid. It could be a law. I don't know. My uncle's that way. His dream in life is to own a 2-story mobile home. I told him, I said, Uncle Robert, I'm not sure there's even such a thing. He says, well, they ought to be for people that's got money. Oh, he's an idiot. He was watching television one day. They had a commercial come on to promote a movie. They said, coming soon to a theater near you. And my uncle said, now how in the heck they know where I live? Scared me. My uncle could not find a job and could not keep a job. He'd fill out a job application, and where it says nearest relative, he'd put 12 miles. And you know where it says in case of emergency call, he put like 911. And get this, one night, we was at his house, and there was a lot of people there. It was his birthday. And he was in a good mood because he got some new underwear, new socks, and an oil filter. That aggravated him because he don't have no car. Well, anyway, the Muppets had this TV special. Miss Piggy comes on the TV screen. Bless you. Miss Piggy come on the TV screen, and my uncle says, I bet you that's not a real pig. And you know what annoys you? You can't argue with him. Well, Uncle Robert, I believe you're right about that. Well, hell yeah, I'm right. Let me tell you something. I've been around pigs all my life. A real pig wouldn't wear a dress like that. Not with them shoes. As long as I can remember, folks, he's been that way. Years ago, when we were little bitty kids, watching Saturday morning cartoons, Bullwinkle would be on. And my uncle would go, well, hell, that ain't no real moose. We were just little bitty babies sitting on our diapers like. But we would nudge each other and go, there's a dumbass right there. We just... And the dumbest thing he's ever done, some years ago, Labor Day weekend, he read a story in the paper that's about how 75% of all fatal car accidents occur within 25 miles of where you live. So the idiot moved. He said, that ain't gonna happen to me. Oh, it's so good to be here. Just recently, I had to go to Wichita, Kansas, and California, all like in a 2-day period, which means I had to get on an airplane. Oh, damn. Yeah, for several years, I used to come up here and make jokes about airlines, and you don't have to make jokes anymore. It's real now. You know, that started when Northwest Airlines fired 3 pilots for being drunk. Drunk pilots. How can you pull them over like DUI? You're down here like, well, hell, who's going to go get them? My Mustang's in the shop. By the way, this time you fly Northwest, if you want to aggravate them, here's how you can do it. When they come around to take your drink order, just say, I'll have whatever the pilots are having. They don't like that. And here's a joke I made up. How many Northwest pilots does it take to fly a plane? 2 and a 5th. And this right here sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. It really happened. This past summer was a year ago. There were 4 incidents of where a plane would be on the runway. And for no obvious reason, the engine would just fall off and hit the pavement. Do you hear me? The damn motor fell off. Y'all sitting there like you see that every day. Yeah, I just saw that yesterday. Now, look, this is true. The FAA said that was caused by a malfunction in the airplane toilet. In the toilet. Do you see what they're telling us? Somebody flushed a commode and the damn motor fell off. So you listen to me. The next time you're up to about 30,000 feet, and you're sitting there going, I don't think I can hold this any longer, think again. I don't care if you pee in your briefcase. And let's not forget about Aloha Airlines. They're the ones that had that airplane that took off as a hardtop, come back as a convertible. The top blew off. And the dumb things the people would say once they got off the plane, these are people who flew in and landed in an airplane that didn't have a top. It didn't have a damn top. And one lady actually said this. She said, at first, I didn't even notice it. I just reached out to push the stewardess button and the sun was in my eye. All right, one more quick one here. This is about 3 years ago, upstate New York. There's a small airplane in a holding pattern, waiting for clearance to land. When suddenly, without warning, the plane just dropped out of the sky, hit the ground. It killed some people, but nobody we know. Well, do you remember why that plane fell so abruptly? It ran out of gas. Do you hear me? I'm thinking, don't they have a gauge or something? If I was the pilot up there at 35,000 feet and the gas hand was on E, I'd land on the freeway at Texaco. They may not have any jet fuel, but hell, it's worth a shot. At least you could grab a Coke and a pack of crackers. Go pee. See, folks, you remember what I'm telling you right now. Everything they tell you and I about the safety of a plane was never intended for our safety. It was intended primarily to make us feel better mentally about being out there. Just like the oxygen mask. They say if we need it, it's going to pop down out of the ceiling. I ain't never seen it. I don't believe it's up there. Then they say if it does come down, for us to breathe first before we hand it to the person next to us. Well, hell, I was going to do that anyhow. I mean, I'm a pretty nice guy. I just can't see myself looking at somebody I don't even know and going, well, hell, I don't have anything to live for. Why don't you breathe? And how often have you heard this? The very moment your friends find out you're afraid to fly, they will kill you with logic. They'll go, you know, more people die in car wrecks than they do plane crashes. I go, so? That's the way I want to go. Damn car wreck. Where I'm from, it's kind of like a tradition. Really, we don't have heart attacks in my family. We just hit damn trees. Usually on the weekend. Just out drinking. Well, say, folks, think about this. At least if you die in a car wreck, it'll give the kin people something to talk about at the funeral home. Have you ever noticed that? When someone passes away the result of an auto accident, at the funeral home, they won't talk about the dead guy. They'll talk about the damn car. They go, did you see the car he was driving? You ain't seen it. Why, it smashed all to hell. They still ain't found the steering wheel. Well, you can't even tell what kind of car that is. Well, I know what kind it is. I'm one that had to co-sign for the damn thing. I mean, I know he's dead and gone. I ain't gonna stand out here and talk about him, but he never did have no credit. Everything he had was a co-signer. And don't let this go no further. But his house wasn't even in his name. Hell no, his daddy bought that damn house. And besides that, folks, at least if you die in a car wreck, they can always retrieve the body. And we need that, because I'm Baptist. You give us something to embalm and some tater salad, we can have a funeral. This ashes in an urn ain't for us. Oh, hell no, we're going to throw dirt on somebody. Now, you know that I'm telling you the truth. We respond to every tragedy in life with food. A damn covered dish. Could be a law, I don't know. But Look, hey, we'll knock on somebody's door and say, sorry to hear about your son-in-law. Here's some baked beans. We would come in for a minute, but you know Walmart closes at 9. Now I tell you what, if you'll pay close attention here for the next few minutes, this right here will bring back childhood memories to you about the covered dish thing. Remember years ago, a long time ago, when you were just a little kid, living at home, it'd be evening time, early night time maybe, and the phone would ring. Your mother would answer the phone. And when she hung up the phone, she would go, Lord have mercy. You said, Mama, who was that? That was Cecil. His daddy died today. Yeah, the way he tells it, and we always say that, the way he tells it, like he might be making this up. The way he tells it, his daddy had been outside cutting grass. Well, ever since they bought that riding mower, hell, he cut grass every damn day. He just got there and ride. Well, you know, they bought him that riding mower last summer after he cut off 3 toes on his right foot. That was him being damn bullheaded. You know the mower where it says keep hands and feet away from blade? He said, it's my damn mower. They can't tell me what to do. Well, anyway, listen. So Cecil and the other kids went in together, and they bought him this riding mower. I told them when they bought that mower, I said, look, that man's 82 years old. He don't need no damn 12 horsepower. But they wouldn't listen. Sears had that damn sale going on. Nothing down, no payments till April. They said, we'll just add that to what we already owe. Well, you know, listen, you know, when he turned 80, they took away his weed eater. He was chasing bumblebees with it. Well, you know, remember, he wore those real thick bifocals, remember that? He wore bifocals. So when he would look up like that right there, look up. That bumblebee like a buzzard to him. And then, of course, when he would look down like that right there, look down. He was so proud. Trouble was, his wife didn't wear bifocals. Well, anyway, they get this big mower, and sure enough, he was riding that damn mower to the mall. Had a handicap sticker. We know he had that bad foot and everything. Cutting through people's yards. Everybody had one mowed strip. And they were pissed. Well, anyway, he had no business cutting grass today. It was 98 degrees out there, and Cecil said, Daddy, you ought not cut grass today. You just cut it yesterday. He said, I know, but it might be raining tomorrow. Bless his heart, he thought cutting grass was just like a bowel movement. You ought to do it every day. Matter of fact, that's what he'd do, get up every morning and shit that mower. Well, here's what happened. The old man that lived next door, there's an 80-year-old man next door, and he had just gotten one of those, it was a brand new motorized wheelchairs. Had a motor on it, scooting around. Well, they had to get him one, really. What happened was about 20-something years ago, back in the early 70s, he had this like a hip replacement. And it wasn't like it is today. They don't have the plastic joints back then. They use that metal. And I think he had just soaked in the tub so much that it like rusted his butt. So, he was like all stoved up. They tried everything. They even sprayed back there with that WD-40. Well, anyway, nothing worked. So they said, well, hell, we'll just get him a wheelchair, you know. They had that Sears sale going on. I said, we'll just add that to what we already owe them. So anyway, he had a wheelchair, and then Cecil's daddy got to argue with that old man about which would be the fastest. the wheelchair or that new mower. Well, goddamn. So they got out on the highway to drag race. And it was going along pretty good. They come to this four-way stop, and they stopped. But this Walmart truck was coming this way. And on the side of the Walmart truck, it said, follow us to Good Bargains. And, you know, and old people just do whatever it says do. So they started following that damn semi. And, well, anyway, so a Chihuahua darted, really, well, you know, now, of course, Cecil's daddy had on his bifocals. He thought it was a hog. But it darted out, and the Walmart's truck just stopped like that, you know, and that wheelchair and lawnmower went right up on that damn truck. I swear it was a mess. Killed both of them. Damn dead dog. It didn't hurt the Walmart driver. He said he didn't see a damn thing. Well, I'll get in there and fix a casserole. And we'll go on over there. Remember years ago when it was a custom to bring the deceased one into the home for a couple of days before the burial? Remember this? And all the friends and neighbors and all the kin people, they would come over there, they'd bring food with them. Damn. When I was growing up, me and my little brother used to hope somebody would die so we could eat. Like, I smell chicken. Somebody must be dead. And you remember this? We always put the casket by the living room window. It had to be by the window. Just like this guy was a friggin' Christmas tree. They'll move that couch, roll rubber right over there, you know. And I remember this like it was yesterday. Everybody that come in would spend 1 minute at the casket and 3 days in the kitchen. And they would talk about the food and who brought what. And it would go just like this. Somebody would go, well, I see Elizabeth brought that damn macaroni salad. I knew she'd do this. If it had been somebody on her side of the family, she'd have brought some kind of meat. Well, wait a minute, let me tell you what, no, listen to this. A year ago, when her sister's husband died, hell, she baked a ham. Well, she says she baked it, but it had those pineapple rings and those cherries stuck on it with a toothpick. I said, that looks like a damn Kroger ham to me. But I didn't want to start nothing. And then, listen, and just a few months later, her 19-year-old nephew died. Nobody knows why, he just died. I think it was the stab wounds. Well, when he died, she shows up with 9 pounds of that boar's head roast beef. And that's cheap. Now, let me show you the difference. When my first cousin died, now see, we're talking about my side of the family, and don't let this go no further. You know, he's the one that got killed with a hay baler. Yeah, out baling hay. Thank goodness he was working near the road there, and somebody just driving by happened to notice that this hay baler was running amok with nobody on it. At first, they thought he had just gone to lunch. Then somebody with a brain said, no. He wouldn't jump off a moving hay baler to go to the Huddle House. Well, to make a long story short, here's what happened. He had been up all night the night before watching that Nick at Night. They had this Mary Tyler Moore marathon. He watched every damn show. Anyway. So he goes to work the next day without any sleep at all. And he's working on the hay baler, dozed off, and just fell off the hay baler. And it just bailed him up. Trouble was, there must have been 1,000 bales of hay laying out there. And they didn't know which one he was in. I swear, it was just like hunting Easter eggs. Thank goodness, though, he was wearing his Braves cap. And it was like sticking through the hay. And somebody said, here he is, here he is. And we gave them a chocolate rabbit. It was a closed casket service. He had always wanted to be buried in his favorite blue suit. I said, well, not this time. You know what? You have to be very careful. You know, people get sensitive at a time like that. I didn't mean nothing by it, but, you know, they didn't have no insurance. They didn't have no money. And I just said to his wife, I said, look, since he's just this long now, why don't y'all get him a plot like in a pet cemetery? Just tell him his name was Fluffy. They were pissed. Look, so when he died, see, that was my cousin. When he died, you know what she brought over here then? You know what she brought over here? 4 deviled eggs. I said, there's 200 people here. What am I going to do with 4 damn men? Of course, 100 of these people we don't even know. They just come by and see what we was going to do with that hay baling. I said, well, just come by next week. We're just tore up right now. You ever notice when somebody passes away? I've been at funerals when I was little like this. The man's not even in the grave yet. He's laying 12 feet away by the window over there. And people say, have y'all heard any of them say what they're going to do with his pickup? He told me one time, of course, this before he died, of course. Like, he could tell him that after he died, you know, like he told me one time, if he ever decided to sell it, I could get first shot. Another thing they would bring up, too, at these funerals, they'd say, is either his pickup or, wonder what they're going to do with his guns. Well, he had that. I'd like to have that 30-ounce in. This right here, folks, is the day that I learned the reality of how dangerous a plane can be. I learned this in the Bahamas. They have the planes that just go island to island, very short trip, like a 20-minute trip. And they actually look like crop dusters more than anything. They got one propeller. They only seat about 8 people, 10 at the most. And they have to know the weight of everything that goes on board the aircraft before the plane can take off. And I had never been through that before. And a guy coming to me with a clipboard in his hand, he said, "Sir, how much do you weigh?" I said, "Why do you need to know?" He said, "So we'll know how much fuel to put in." I said, "Fill it up." I'll buy, fill it up. I weigh 600 damn pounds, fill it up. Wouldn't you hate to die in a plane crash because some fat woman lied about her weight? And hell, they'll do it too. Like, well, I just soon be dead. Just tell him how much I weigh. And you know what? They're probably one of those 400-pound women in those tight polyester pants. Why do they wear that shit? Don't they know how that looks? I know they're fat, but hell, they're not blind. Is it believable? Is it even conceivable that a woman over 400 pounds can put on a pair of tight polyester pants, then look in the mirror and go, "All right"? This is the only time in our lives when it's okay to be impolite. If you're at the mall and there's a woman over 400 pounds in tight polyester pants, it's all right to go up and tap her on the shoulder, like. Now, if she's real fat, you have to tap real hard, because she won't feel it. Well, she'll feel it. She'll just think it's a bug. And when she turns around, you can say, "Go home, lady. I'm going to puke. Get the hell out of here." Now, let me tell you a quick, true story related to that subject. When children are 3 or 4 years old, they can be brutally honest. Because they are old enough to talk, that don't mean necessarily they know about good manners yet. When my nephew was 3 years old, he and I were at a Kroger store in Marietta on a Sunday afternoon. And in the store that day was the biggest woman I'd ever seen in my life. Ah, damn. It might have been 500 or 600 pounds. Hell, I don't know. I do know that it looked like a crowd. You're the kind that when they walk down the aisle, they knock pickles off the shelf. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? Can you imagine how big a woman has to be for a 3-year-old to glance at her and go, "Holy sh**"? I said, "Boy, you ain't never talked that way before." He said, "I ain't never seen a woman that damn big." Anyway, she had on these tight polyester pants. You know, little irrigation ditches and all. Real tight sweater, just rolls of fat. Hell, might have been food in there, I don't know. Probably squash. And she was wearing a beeper. The minute my nephew saw her, he said, "Look at that fat woman." I said, "Shut up." He said, "Boy, she's fat." I'm going, "Please, she knows that." "Well, she's breaking the pickles." I'm going, well, thank goodness the lady disappeared over the next aisle. But a few moments later, he and I started up that aisle. And in that split second, her beeper went off. And my nephew said, "Look out, Uncle James, she's backing up." When y'all leave here tonight, if you see a fat woman with a beeper, you're going to die. All right, one final comment here about the airlines, we'll move along. Every time you get on a plane, no matter where you're going, they will tell you about a flotation seat, where it's located, how to use it. They tell you that's in case we go down in the ocean. 2 flights out of 100 go over the ocean. 98 out of 100 stay right here. But if you're in Wichita, coming to Georgia, they'll tell you about a seat that's going to float. I'm sitting there thinking, this must not be a direct flight. If you want to make me happy, show me a seat that's going to bounce out of a cornfield. And get this, there's a sign over the airplane door. Do not open during flight. You know what that means? Sometime in the past. Some nut has said to his wife, "Honey, I'll be back in a minute. Think I'll go out on the wing and get some air." Of course, you know driving can get you in trouble. I got the only traffic ticket of my adult life in our neighbor state of Alabama years ago. I'd always been told, if you ever get stopped by an Alabama state trooper, don't be rude. Have a good sense of humor. Kind of joke around with the policeman. Oh, I wouldn't do that again. I got stopped for speed, and he walked up to the window, and I said, "Hey, man, I ain't got no donuts." No, look, I just made that up. Here's what really happened. He said to me, he said, "Can I see your license?" And I said, "If I can play with your gun." But the best cornbread I ever had was in their jail over there. By the way, in case you haven't noticed this so far, I'm going to point it out to you. I don't do any sexual or political humor, and I'll tell you why. I keep getting the two confused. Really, I was on a TV show once in New York, and they asked me, they said, "What do you think about the Middle East position?" Now, don't be getting ahead of me on that. I said, "Well, hell, I enjoy it." But it hurt my wife's back. Now, I've been doing this bit for a couple of years now, and I hope, see, I'm always considered myself a man ahead of his time. Did you see on the news this past week, they're doing this 5-part series on about how most of the homeless downtown are frauds? Did you see that? Interviewing them. One man lives in the suburbs. Another guy's got his little sign every morning, makes $200 a day. Been reading all that? You know what they do when they get hungry? They call Domino's, have pizza delivered to the corner where they're standing. $18 for lunch. See, if you pull over and said, "Look, I got 2 acres of land that needs clearing off, hop in," they ain't gonna get in. I proved this to a friend of mine. Up here on Johnson Ferry, a man on the corner right near where I live, been out there every day for a year, getting on my damn nerves. So one morning when traffic wasn't too bad, I pulled over. He had this sign that says, "I will work for food." I offered this guy an onion to paint my house. He gave me the finger. So they can be rude, you know. These are the... Oh, by the way, I watched TV today. I saw professional wrestling, 3 hours of it. I don't like football and baseball because I think them two sports is fake. I also saw my favorite X-Lax commercial 3 times. You know the one that's been on the longest where they have this grown woman talking to her grown daughter? They refer to X-Lax as their family's best friend. Now wonder where in the hell they go for the holiday. The next time the commercial is on, listen carefully what the man says during the commercial. He's talking about a laxative. He says, and I quote, "It works while you sleep." I don't want that. No, I want to be up and awake, ready to go. And did you know this? On every box of X-Lax in very small print, it says, "Caution, this is not candy." You know what that means? Sometime in the past. Some nut has said to his wife, probably from the bathroom, "How do you know Hershey's ain't what it used to be?" Everybody have a good time so far tonight, didn't they? Oh, if we didn't have 2 more shows to do, I talked to y'all all night. Y'all been fun. Well, what? I bet when y'all leave here, a lot of you's going to go out and have dinner somewhere, aren't you? You have? This early? What did you have? Now, let me ask you this. Now, be honest. Was it real fried chicken or that little grilled? Do what? Okay. Where'd y'all eat at? The what? Well, sometimes it'll be like printed on their door. So, raise your hand. Do what? Okay. This ain't nothing like a tractor pull, is it, sir? No, I'm just joking with you. What? Is this a lawyer too right here? Judge? He's a judge? Well, damn. Let me make you feel at home. Well, Your Honor, we're glad to have you. Now, nurse, doctor told me to bring in my stool. He told me, he said he could look at my stool and tell me if I was sick or not. I said, hell, I'll bring in the couch. That way you can check out the whole family. Now, let me ask you, now what other town is that near? Well, Athens is only about 60 miles from here. Is it near Augusta? Well, good. So I'm going to be in Augusta next month. And see, that'd be easier for y'all. Yeah. Save you some gas money, you know? Y'all got plenty of gas? Chip in? Did y'all chip in? Do what now? Save the front seat. Okay. Anybody else? Where? Michigan. And on every box of Preparation H in big bold print, it says, use only as directed. You know what that means? Sometime in the past, right? Submit and said to his wife, honey, wonder how this would taste on crackers. Good night. God bless you. Thank you very much.
James Gregory.